Writing, video, internet. High school journalists experience it all in a new Convergent Media Class. A Shawnee Mission Elementary teacher is honored as one of the best by the Kansas State Department of Education. World War II history comes alive as middle school students connect with veterans. And the Shadow checks out a class where students teach students. It's all ahead on this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Welcome to Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. I'm your host, Leanne Neal. Technology has changed the way we do a lot of things, including how we get our news and information. Now, a class at Shawnee Mission West is working to better prepare high school students for careers in journalism.
Basically, it's like new form media of getting with the times pretty much, taking it out of print, putting it to where people want to see it online, where they can access it whenever they want, because everything's getting faster, so people have less time.
Evan is part of a new kind of journalism being practiced in the district's first Convergent Media Class, co-taught by radio TV teacher Kelly Gill and journalism teacher Amy Morgan.
The idea in the professional media is that kids have to know how to shoot video and edit video and take pictures and write stories and edit their stories and do everything all on their own if they want to have a successful career. So we wanted our kids to have that opportunity.
It was really Amy Morgan's brainchild, and she thought, let's bring both of the worlds together, of the radio TV side and the journalism side, and see if we can't have the kids be more like backpack journalists, and so that they can know everything about each side and just be able to put together an entire story, be able to take pictures and then do a broadcast, a video for it, and put it up on the web.
Students from both print and video backgrounds enjoy having the opportunity to expand their horizons.
So far I've learned a lot about writing because I come from the video side of it, so this has brought a lot of new experiences.
I learned a lot of stuff with camera work and broadcasting stuff, so I'm getting used to that kind of stuff.
Instead of creating a traditional print or broadcast product, the students take their work directly to the internet, and Morgan thinks that's been the biggest adjustment.
It's been a challenge for the kids to think in terms of the immediacy of the internet, because they're used to doing a print product or the broadcast show where they have a lot more time to put something together.
We have to always be fast-paced and always be doing something, and I didn't really anticipate that when I came into it, but I like it. I like the fast pace, getting things done and getting things up on the internet as fast as we can. We get to do so much, we get to work on filming and editing, and we get to write and take pictures, and so it's just backpack journalism at its finest.
District technology helps students accomplish this.
The equipment that we have, that the district has given us, is just tremendous. We wouldn't be able to do this class without that. There's just no way.
Morgan says the technological knowledge the students gain will help them in whatever career they choose.
They're certainly learning technology skills that they can use in multiple fields. They're learning all sorts of things about responsibility and meeting deadlines and working with people. So even if they're not interested in journalism, I feel like they still get a lot out of it.
I definitely like the fact that this is the only Convergent Media class in the district right now, so that's kind of cool. And I feel like that being able to basically start everything on my own, we're starting from scratch. So basically trying to invent something and start something new has been kind of cool for me this year to do.
Students practicing stitches and putting on casts. You might think it was a medical school course, but it's happening at Shawnee Mission North in the Health Sciences signature programs. Shawnee Mission North biomedical and pre-medical health science students had the opportunity this spring to learn some advanced medical techniques typically not taught until the 3rd or 4th year of college.
We connected with the University of Kansas School of Nursing, and a couple of the instructors in the School of Nursing have come over and are instructing the students on the basics of casting and suturing.
All right, now do you see what happens here? All this stuff? Okay, that's not going to hurt her while we're sitting right here, but in 6 weeks, that's just going to rub raw.
Interestingly enough, the casting activity was really an eye-opener for some of them because it gives them a perspective from the patient's point of view. At 17 and 18 years old, they're beginning to understand that level of compassion outside of themselves. And in healthcare, obviously, that's huge.
With the bones healed and the casts cut off, it's time for students to try their hands at stitching up lacerations on pigs' feet with a little one-on-one instruction from KU nursing instructor Moya Peterson.
These are skills that nurse practitioners do. Staff nurses wouldn't be able to do this kind of skill, but unless maybe some of them that work in the OR will do some suturing, but mostly, at least in the outpatient department, this is a nurse practitioner skill.
Future nursing student Jessica Bosworth agrees.
I plan on going to Emporia State for nursing, and I think it's gonna help me in the long run just because I already know pretty much first year nursing already.
As a nurse, I'm proud to maybe, spark an interest in some of these kids that they'll choose nursing because we need nurses, and these kids are all bright and they'd be a real asset to the profession.
It was so much fun to be here with you guys. I've told Mrs. Ganny, I think you guys do as well or better than my nurse practitioner students.
To learn more about Shawnee Mission's Health Sciences signature programs, visit our website at smsd.org. Under the Students tab, you'll find a signature programs link. Preparing for a big test can be stressful. Up next, check out how one school gets silly to help students get serious. And we'll meet a Shawnee Mission teacher selected as one of the top in the state.
Hi, my name's Coleman and I go to Westwoodview Elementary School. I read the book 11 by Patricia Riley Giff. It starts out when Sam gets out of his bed to look for birthday presents. Up in the attic, he finds a newspaper with his name on it and the word missing. Unfortunately, Sam can't read, so the rest of the story is not discovered. At school, though, he eats lunch with a girl, Caroline, who can't stop reading. In fact, Sam's teacher assigns them to work on a project together. When Sam has her over to work on it, they discover that Sam disappeared in a boating accident. Later on, Sam rebuilt a toy boat made of wood that he found in the attic. But since Mac, his grandfather, is afraid of water, how could he have built it? On top of all this, Caroline has to leave town soon. So, will Sam ever find out the truth about his past before Caroline leaves? Find out in 11 by Patricia Riley Giff. I rate this book 4 out of 5 stars for adventure, suspense, and a little action.
Welcome back. When you've studied hard and done what you can to prepare for a big test, what's left to do? At Marsh Elementary, the answer is party. Students from the whole school got together in the multipurpose room for a rally. The idea was to help students in grades 3 through 6 get pumped up about taking the state assessments. Everybody, including Ray the Cougar, got in on the action. The younger students showed their signs of support, including this message to do your best on the test from T-Rex and Zachary. Jamie Stokes, Shawnee Mission graduate and Miss Kansas USA 2010, remembers that the testing can be long and tiring, but she had some advice for the students.
If you just stay positive and keep on trying your best, you guys will do awesome.
With those words of encouragement, it was time to proceed to the Miss Math competition, where contestants demonstrated their command of some math concepts that they might encounter on the test.
What type of triangle has 2 congruent sides?
My answer is an isosceles triangle.
There were contestants representing grades 3 through 6 with 2, well, let's just call them bonus contestants.
What is your estimate on the percentage of Marsh students that will meet the standard on the state assessment?
My answer is that 100% of students will pass the math test, because I believe that our love of math will bring us world peace.
It was an answer that brought cheers from the crowd and the Miss Math tiara. This pretest rally has become an annual event for many schools in the district. Educators say it not only helps raise the spirits of the students taking the test, but it also helps younger students gain a better understanding of what's ahead for them.
I am so excited to have you joining us today in the library for a wonderful reception for our very own Mrs. Robeson.
Recently, the Ray Marsh community had another good reason to cheer. Fourth grade teacher Laura Robeson received 2 special honors, the Horizon Award from the Kansas State Department of Education and the Brass Bell Award from Shawnee Mission Medical Center and the Shawnee Mission Education Foundation.
We're very, very proud of you for being named a Horizon winner. And as everybody knows, this is an award for an outstanding first-year teacher.
The Horizon Award is given to just 32 teachers throughout the state. It recognizes teachers who show great promise and stand out among other teachers in their novice year. The Brass Bell Award includes a $500 grant, which was presented by Shawnee Mission Medical Center President Sam Turner. Then it was Mrs. Robeson's turn to speak.
Being your teacher has been one of the absolute best parts of my life. I care about each and every one of you, and this is just really so special.
With the speeches complete, it was time for cake, and in a room full of 4th graders, you don't have to ask twice. Between bites, we got a few comments about what makes Mrs. Robeson special.
She's a good reading teacher. I stunk at reading before the year, and now I'm like good at it.
Well, I think she really deserved it because she's a really awesome teacher, and she's like the best teacher that I've ever had.
She has a background in social work, and I just think that gives her just that background of education that helps her to connect with students even more. But she is just relaxed with them, and at the same time has such high expectations for learning and behavior. She's just so encouraging.
To me, it's about building relationships with kids and helping them and guiding them in their journey of learning and helping kids become lifelong learners. And that's probably the most important to me, is to instill that love of learning, that curiosity, and to plant that seed so they can take that through the rest of their career as students and then the rest of their lives.
Congratulations, Mrs. Robeson. We know you'll keep up the good work. Shawnee Mission educators are always looking for creative ways to bring their lessons to life. When we come back, high school students get a taste of state politics, and middle school students learn from the greatest generation. Welcome back. Some Shawnee Mission Legal Studies students got a first-hand look at how things work in the state capitol when they took a trip to Topeka.
Today is our annual field trip for the Intro to Law students. We bring, it's mostly freshmen, I got a smattering of sophomores in there. And every year we try to get up to the Capitol, take a tour of the Judicial Center, get them to experience, something more than just what's in a book. This is where all things that we talk about in class actually happen. So it's a great field trip for them.
The Capitol Center ground covers 20 acres of land.
Students toured the state capitol building where lawmakers work. During a tour of the Judicial Center, students actually got to sit in the chairs of the state Supreme Court justices.
Most kids don't get to see the inside of that building, and so by taking the kids in there, they get to actually sit in the seats and the chairs where the 7 Supreme Court justices from the state of Kansas actually get to sit, where those decisions are made.
It's a great way to learn about Kansas and just how the legal program works.
We just learned about the history and what they do there and how that affects every other person that lives in Kansas.
I learned a lot today. I learned a lot about the history, more than I was expecting actually. I already knew from class quite a bit about how our system works, but I learned about how it came to work this way.
Since 1885.
To learn more about the district's Legal Studies Signature Program, go to our website at smsd.org. Under the Students tab, you'll find a link for the Signature Programs page. While high school students gained new appreciation for what goes on in our state capitol, middle school students learned about World War II from those who were there.
All right, so I think we should just start off by you telling us kind of what you did during the war.
I was a battalion surgeon.
Local veterans came to Trailridge and Indian Hills to share their stories and help bring this part of history to life for these 8th grade students.
They are talking to an individual vet, they one-on-one, mano a mano. They've got access to that vet to hear his story and then the opportunity to write it up. And so they're going to feel closer to World War II just as a result of interacting with the guys.
I'm doing a project on Mauthausen, which is a concentration camp which specialized in working people to death. And luckily enough, there was Dr. Kramer, who was a medic at Mauthausen. He treated all the survivors, so that was like a really great opportunity.
I will say for those prisoners of war, I've never seen such wonderful people. How they endured what they endured, I don't know. But they'll always hold a place in my heart.
There is nothing like hearing firsthand stories. It's very different when you read about it in a textbook versus hearing the stories from an actual person. They put the face with the name, and the story comes alive.
What was it like? You were there when they raised the flag, right?
Yeah.
What was it like? What did it feel like to see that American flag?
I think it was the 4th morning when the word came out, look to Sarabachi, and when you see the flag up there was just a roar the whole island. It was just like a hooray, you know. It was really a morale booster.
This is the top secret of invasion of Japan.
So I think it's very important that the students have time and the opportunity to meet with these people while they are still here. And they truly are the heroes, not the sports stars, the entertainers. It's people like this that make the difference.
The elevators are on a big shaft where the planes go up and down from the hangar deck. The hangar deck is where they store planes.
Maury Dubinsky was 19, just a couple of years older than these students, when he became a fighter pilot in 1942.
It was scary, very scary all the time. We were alone in the plane. I don't know if you ever get used to it, but we knew the job had to be done, and we were doing our duty as citizens of the United States.
There's a gentleman here who speaks about D-Day, the D-Day landings. They can't believe that someone actually went through that and lived through that part of time.
I was a company commander in the 16th Infantry of the 1st Infantry Division. At the time we landed in Normandy, my regiment was the 1st Regiment ashore on Omaha Beach, and I lost 48 men in my company out of 180 the first day. And in my regiment, we lost 35 officers and 950 men in the first 24 hours.
In recognition of Brooks' outstanding service, the President of France recently appointed him a Knight in the French Legion of Honor.
Those were little native babies in New Guinea.
Virginia Summers was one of the 250,000 women who volunteered for duty. She served as a nurse in the Pacific Theater.
I'm glad that I did what I did, and I'd do it again if I had to, but I don't want to.
Another of the women who served, Margaret Davison, shared the story of how she ended up overseas.
I had just finished my internship in dietetics in Seattle, Washington, King County Hospital, and there were 8 in my class, and our supervisor encouraged us to volunteer. And 3 of us did. Well, it's a tiny island. 2 of the girls asked for overseas duty. I asked to stay in the States, and I was the only one of the 3 that got out of the country. Typical Army.
I think it was a lot better just talking to someone who's there because, I mean, in a book you only get the facts, but you actually get stories from someone who's there, and you get like how actually people felt in the war, and yeah.
So it's a great opportunity for the kids. It's a great opportunity for the vets.
Students at both schools completed special research projects following their interviews. Indian Hills also hosted a museum where students presented their work and the veterans displayed their memorabilia. Up next, Find out how some student entrepreneurs are growing their business. And The Shadow explores a positive kind of peer pressure.
Hi, I'm Emma Vaughters, a 6th grader from Belender, and the book that I read was Every Soul a Star by Wendy Mass. This book is about 3 kids named Allie, Bree, and Jack, who are all very different, but each have one thing in common. They are all going to the Moon Shadow Campground to experience a solar eclipse. Allie has lived miles and miles away from civilization for as long as she can remember and plans to live on the Moon Shadow Campground for as long as she can. Bree is quite the opposite. She lives a glamorous city life where she aspires to be a model and has tons of friends to support her. Jack, on the other hand, is an outsider who must go on a school trip to see the eclipse or he will fail science. Will the 3 become friends from being together, or will their differences set them apart? Find out the answer to that and many more things if you read Every Soul a Star. I would rate this book 4 to 5 stars for its great description and great ending. You should read this book.
Transition students at Broadmoor Technical Center have found more success in their entrepreneurial endeavors.
$10 is your change.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For the past several years, the students have been planting and growing herbs, which they sell to the public each spring and all school year to the Broadmoor Bistro. Now the students have a new customer. Taste Restaurant has started purchasing microgreens from the students.
And they were very supportive of the students and how we were growing them. We grow them organically, and they were very willing to work with us on that. So as long as the quality was good, they were willing to work with us, and so we kept the quality up. And they want to continue to work with us next year, so I was very pleased about that.
Plunkett hopes that the program can add another restaurant or health food store in the future. For now, she's happy with the progress these students have made.
I'm very, very proud of the students. They've done a remarkable job. Like I said 3 years ago, they didn't know, they didn't, like the master gardener said before, they didn't want to get their hands dirty, and now they're just, pros. So they've really come a long way.
Sometimes the best way to learn is from a peer. That's the idea behind some high school classes across the district that combine student mentors with special education students. Today, The Shadow visits one such class at Shawnee Mission South, co-taught by special education teachers Julie Hockler and Laura Keithley.
First thing we're going to do today is some role plays, okay? And then after that, we're going to be talking about yearbooks. This is interpersonal skills, and it consists of students with special needs that are in grades 9 through 12. And we have about 20 students in here, and then we have 10 mentors that are student mentors. We basically focus on social skills in here. We talk about everything from how to meet people, to signing yearbooks, obviously, to appropriate dating situations. We cover a lot. How our message is going to be different depending on who you're writing to. Okay, we have, good, close, personal friends. We have school pals. We have acquaintances, and what we write is going to vary depending on who it is we're talking to, right?
All right, and that's the end.
Well, that was nice. The cadet teachers actually bring a lot of the material to the classroom. They kind of observe our students in the halls, and they may notice like a behavior that is inappropriate or a skill that needs to be taught, and they'll come to us with ideas for role plays, and that's kind of how we run our curriculum.
Like, it's my favorite class in the world, and like if you're having a bad day, you just come to this class and you always know that you'll be happy and it's just going to be a good day, because it's just the most fun you could ever have in a classroom is right here.
I found out because actually in one of my classes there was a student who I was just feeling
dealing with and like talking with, helping with projects, and I found out he was autistic. And one of the teachers suggested this class for me, and it's probably my favorite class. I'm probably going to continue this for my whole life, volunteering or doing any work I can.
A lot of them have just grown so much, like in language. Like there's a few kids in this class that last year had almost zero language, and like this year they're so excited to be talking and have so much more. And it impacts us just because we form such close bonds with them, and like they become our close friends, and like we enjoy seeing them so much, and it's really great.
This is one of the things that really I just think is so neat about the class. We require the cadet teachers to organize one stepping out a quarter with our IPS students, and it's for a grade, and they do an activity outside of school and they're given a grade for it. And these guys have gone so above and beyond this year. They'll come to class on Monday, and one of our cadets will be like, yeah, I hung out with Peyton and we played video games on Saturday, or some of the girls have gone out together and, you know, they call each other and see each other in the hallways, and really it's been neat to watch those relationships develop. It's so much more than I ever anticipated.
What did you bring, Peyton?
That's all the time we have for this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Thanks to Laura Keithley, Julie Hockler, and the IPS class for letting us see what they do. Join us again as we continue to feature the programs and people of Shawnee Mission who are helping guide students to success. Thank you for watching.